What if I told you the moment you let disrespect slide, you're not avoiding conflict, you're losing power? Because every time you ignore it, you're silently teaching people how to treat you. And here's the part most people never realize. Disrespect ignored becomes disrespect permitted, and disrespect permitted becomes disrespect repeated. When you let it happen once, others see it. They take note. They think, if he didn't defend himself then, he won't defend himself later. And now you've set the stage for future attacks without even knowing it. Your reputation shifts quietly, dangerously, until one day you're seen as the person who can be pushed, mocked, or dismissed without consequence. Let this sink in. You will be either respected or ignored forever. And how you respond to disrespect shapes which one you become. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. He wrote that respect isn't earned over time, it's enforced in the moment. In a world driven by dominance, hierarchy, and perception, you don't wait for respect. You set the standard. You show people what is and isn't allowed. Because the way others treat you determines your status in every room you walk into. Here's the truth. Disrespect is never just a joke, never just a moment. It's always a test, a quiet challenge to your authority and your boundaries. And if you fail it, you don't just look weak, you become weak in their eyes. But here's the twist Machiavelli would approve of. You don't stop disrespect with anger. You don't stop it by raising your voice. You stop it with something far more powerful: silence, stillness, and a response they never expect. Imagine taking someone's disrespect and making them regret it without raising your voice, without explaining yourself, without breaking your cool for even a second. That's the move, that's the power. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you in this video. When someone disrespects you, do you snap back? Do you explain yourself, hoping they'll understand? Or do you do the one thing that instantly shifts the power in the room? You withdraw. You go silent. You force them to feel the weight of their own disrespect. Because here's the truth Machiavelli understood better than anyone. The person who reacts emotionally loses. Always. But the person who pulls back, the one who becomes unreadable, unpredictable, that person becomes dangerous. And unpredictability, it creates fear. Fear makes people hesitate. It makes them rethink their words, correct themselves, and treat you with a level of respect they never offered before. Think about the last time someone crossed a line with you. Imagine if instead of reacting, you held your power. Imagine if you made them sit in the discomfort of their own behavior. That's the shift I'm about to teach you. Because silence isn't silence. It's a calculated weapon. A strategy that forces the other person to question everything, their words, their tone, even their standing with you. This is how real power is built. Not in what you say, but in what you withhold. Remember this: the one who can't be read can't be controlled. And the one who chooses when to act instead of reacting is the one who owns the room. Disrespect survives on one thing: your reaction. Laugh at it, defend yourself, explain yourself, snap back, and you've already lost. Because the moment you react, you feed it. You give it oxygen, you give it power. You give the other person exactly what they wanted, a rise out of you. But when disrespect is met with stillness, with cold, unreadable silence, it exposes itself instantly. It stops looking bold and starts looking desperate. Most people fail here. They feed the disrespect. They give it momentum. And once it gathers momentum, it becomes harder to stop. But when you refuse to fuel it, when you deny it the reaction it craves, it dies, right there, right in front of the person who tried to use it against you. And that's the moment you take control. Machiavelli mastered this. He never reacted first. He watched. He observed. He allowed people to reveal the fullness of their pettiness, their insecurity, their weakness before he made a single move. And when he did act, there was no emotion, no apology, no outburst. Only strategy, only precision. Every gesture calculated to expose the other person's instability and reclaim the power they thought they had. Now here's your next move. When disrespect comes your way, don't fight it. Don't match it. Don't descend to their level. Mirror it. But with a question, not an insult, not retaliation. A question designed to expose them, because when someone disrespects you, they're expecting chaos. They're expecting you to get emotional, insecure, defensive. But what they never expect is exposure, and exposure is lethal. So when someone crosses a line, you simply turn your head slightly and ask, "Did you mean to say it that way? Or want to repeat that? Or I'm not sure I understand. What did you mean by that?" And suddenly the pressure flips. The spotlight turns. Their confidence evaporates. They start explaining. They start backtracking. They start feeling unsettled. And now they're the one exposed, scrambling to justify their behavior while you remain calm, controlled, unreadable. That is power, that is strategy, that is Machiavellian. You hold eye contact, you tilt your head just slightly. Then, with a calmness sharp enough to cut through the moment, you ask, "Did you mean to say it that way? Or you sure you want to repeat that? Or that sounded personal, want to clarify before I respond?" Each question is a precise incision, clean, controlled, surgical. You're not denying the attack. You're not defending yourself. You're doing something far more dangerous. You're inviting them to repeat it, to double down, to put their aggression on record publicly where everyone can see them expose themselves. That moment, that's your power move. Because most people who disrespect you aren't brave. They're opportunistic. They poke, prod, test, hoping you'll react emotionally so they can feel superior for a second. But when you meet their move with cold clarity, with silence thick enough to make them hear their own heartbeat, they start doubting themselves. And doubt is the moment the power shifts. You're not after revenge. You're not trying to embarrass them. You're doing something far more strategic. You're planting uncertainty inside their mind. Because once someone starts questioning their behavior, once they wonder if they misread you, once they feel even a flicker of "what did I just do?" they lose control. And you gain it. Here's the deeper game. The person who makes others hesitate, stumble, and correct themselves never has to demand respect. They generate it simply by existing. Real power isn't loud. Real power doesn't argue. Real power makes others adjust themselves automatically. But here's where most people ruin everything. They handle one confrontation well, and then their energy softens. They go back to being warm, normal, open. And the moment you soften, the moment you pretend nothing happened, the disrespect returns. Because people test what looks available. So here's what you must do next, the part most people never understand. Reframe the relationship immediately. You do not go back to normal. You do not return to friendliness. You do not pretend the moment didn't happen. You change how you speak. You change how present you are. You change how accessible your time and energy become. A subtle shift, a permanent one. You draw a new line, one they can't ignore, one you never explain, one that tells them, access to me is earned, not given. And once you set that boundary, once the dynamic shifts, there is no going back. Machiavelli understood something most people still miss. A well-timed public correction doesn't just end a threat, it instructs everyone watching. So if disrespect happens in front of others, don't waste a single breath on a comeback. Don't match their tone. Don't chase the moment. Let your posture do the talking. Withdraw your warmth, sharpen your presence. Respond with nothing but cold, deliberate distance. You don't announce the shift, you let them feel it. You let the room feel it. Because this, right here, is what separates the respected from the ignored. This isn't domination through intimidation. It's presence through principle. When you pull back, you send one silent message the entire room can hear. I am not available for that. And here's the part most people never understand. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't soften the discomfort. You let them adjust. Respect isn't earned, it's calibrated. And when the calibration changes, the social current shifts with it. People take notice. Voices get quieter around you. Your name stops being thrown casually into conversations. It's spoken with calculation, with care. Because the person who cannot be disrespected isn't loud or reactive. It's the one who knows exactly what to do in the moment it happens, not noise, not anger, but controlled silence, piercing clarity, and an absolute refusal to put comfort above self-respect. That's how you end the game before it even begins. Not with ego, not with pride, but with what they never expected: discipline, distance, command. And once you make this shift, everything about you changes. You stop seeking approval. You stop responding to indirect shots. You stop trying to prove you're above it. Because now you understand something Machiavelli knew centuries ago. You never have to defend what you refuse to let be touched. They can't disrespect you if they can't reach you. They can't undermine you if you never relied on their approval. They can't provoke you when your silence forces them to question their own status. This right here is the apex of psychological dominance. Not cruelty, not pride, but control. Control over what you react to. Control over what energy you return. And most importantly, control over who even gets access to your reactions. This is how kings moved in Machiavelli's world, and this is how you move in yours.